Good morning and welcome to the July 19th, 2023 meeting of the Harwich Council on Aging Board of Directors. My name is Richard Waystack and we welcome you this morning. We have no one present here from the public and those of you who are watching via channel 18 or on YouTube, we welcome you to our meeting today. I'll call the meeting to order and I will ask for a motion of the approval of minutes from the June 21st meeting. Motion has been made by John, seconded by Carol. Any changes, alterations necessary? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. And there is nobody here, as I say, from the public, so there's no public comment. I have a few comments this morning. In our minutes, obviously, we met our new program specialist last month, Jen Anderson, and I saw her in action for the first time Friday at the men's breakfast, and she was wonderful. Boy, she just jumped right in and fit in so well. I had staff pretty much all say hello, and we had a very nice opportunity for Marie Carlson, who had been the executive assistant for many years here, to basically say goodbye to the guys. So it was a wonderful meeting, and it was great to see Jen, and I think she's going to be a very valued member of the team here at the Council on Aging. I wanted to do another kudos to your staff through you, please, if you would. I met with someone called me a week ago, someone in her 60s, concerned about her mom, who was in her 90s. And long story short, eventually may need to sell the house, but when we always talk about putting a plan together for people, got there and found some things. And I encouraged the son and daughter-in-law to call the council and to speak with our social worker, Andrea. And I popped down here and was able to speak to Andrea quickly, and literally as soon as I was leaving, the phone was ringing and they were calling. And having that resource available to us, and I know all of you are involved in volunteering at one way or another here at the council, but to have these programs and services available to our community are so important. And to anyone watching at home, please, I encourage you to get a copy of our newsletter and see the breadth of services and programs that are offered here. I don't know, I'm not going to follow up, it's not my point at this point. Yeah. It's the team's opportunity to follow up with those folks, but I know that they're in good hands with Andrea, so please pass that on if you would to your staff. Of course. I appreciate that.
Happy to.
Before we get to Julie's report, anything new or exciting from our board members? Angie?
No.
How was the men's breakfast on Friday?
Question about that.
Yes, sir.
Why are we not doing the buffet? Is that the health department?
Yeah, the health department said that we could not, if we wanted to bring it back, that was something that they would not want to see happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They said if they had their way, we wouldn't have buffets anywhere in town, really, but definitely not for our population.
I got some negative comments among my troops that were here.
Yeah.
They really wonder why we had a full house of 50 people, for one thing, and I think that's part of the reason. And they were just not pleased with the presentation. I mean, it was nice of folks to be served at the table and so on, but they really liked the choice that they had at the buffets.
Yeah.
Actually, that's great feedback. We'll bring it up next month. We'll talk about that, and that the reason we're doing that, everyone wanted those breakfasts to come back. We have the women's breakfast on Friday of this week, and those who are watching who would like to see it, the women's breakfast is Friday at 9:30 a.m. You can call here at the Council on Aging to register. But I think it's important that we let guys know it's not our decision. It's a decision of the Board of Health, and our hands are tied. Yeah. And if they wish to continue meeting like this, because it's a big production to put on a breakfast like that.
Sure it is, yeah.
And we, in essence, take the majority of the staff for half an hour anyway to serve all of the men. Right. And if they're uncomfortable with it, we can have a chat about it, but we're not going to be able to modify it and go back to the way we were.
Right.
I assume that was the reason, but I just wanted to check.
But I think it's great. We should address it. Be honest, be candid about it, and just let the guys, if they want to vent, that's fine, they can vent. But it's a lot of work, and Linda works very, very hard
Oh,
in
I
the
know she
kitchen.
does, yeah.
And,
I thought it was an exceptional breakfast the other day, by the way.
oh yeah, no, it was great.
Breakfast burrito, whatever it was good. Breakfast sandwich.
Breakfast sandwich and croissants, they were delicious, but it was not just that, it was the other things that
I
are
know,
with
I
it,
know,
everything
yeah.
else that goes with it. So do you want to comment at all? Or?
No, I would just say that, you know, we ourselves would prefer the buffet setup as well. But
Sure.
yeah, so we just couldn't make it happen.
It's not a criticism, it's just a.
Oh, no,
just
it's a
question.
fact of life, and I've heard one or two guys, and I've had a chance to speak to them, and to be honest with you, from our perspective, it does defer the staff from other things.
Yeah.
You know, because basically the entire staff is there assisting, because everyone has to be served. The only other option for that, we'll talk to the guys, is if it's possible to have some of the guys volunteer to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, that would be an opportunity as well. So we'll follow up on that, Ralph.
I noticed other towns also had the same thing, so I was at Barnstable, they wanted to have, buffet, and, the town of Barnstable Board of Health told them, no, you
Yeah.
have to be.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Well, I look at what's more important.
Sure.
Having the buffet or having the opportunity to get together, to have networking and
Right.
fellowship.
We just had to meet in the middle,
Right.
Sure.
basically.
Well, I'm
Makes sense,
reminded
health-wise.
that the going away party for Father Mark at Holy Trinity was a buffet.
they were
It was
church,
served.
they're
I mean, it
church,
was.
though. So I think they're covered differently.
Oh, and I think, I won't comment. The Board of Health in our discussion,
Yes.
in order for us, as the Council on Aging, to
Okay.
have the breakfast done again, there were certain conditions that we needed to follow.
Okay.
And I, for one, and I don't think our director is going to contradict the edict of the Board of Health
I
or the health
understand.
director.
I
So,
understand. I was just saying,
Oh, yeah.
if it was across the board, I mean, why did that happen?
we go to the Board of Health for permission.
I understand.
And as you know, sometimes it's easier to
Obviously,
ask for
I
forgiveness rather than
Should
permission.
not bring this up.
But that was the condition that we had to do to put these
Okay.
breakfast on.
So
Does that
we-
answer that properly? There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the case.
Nothing further.
But again, thank you. I think it's important. You know, we have this, people bring it up, and it's important that we have open dialogue with the folks who are utilizing the services of the Council on Aging. Okay, I'll turn things right over to Julie for your report, please.
Okay. I think I can keep things short and sweet today. So in terms of operations, we have brought on the per diem van driver that I mentioned at the last meeting. He had his first day of training last week with Jerry. He will come back next week for his second day of training. We split it up like that because he's out of town this week. So we usually have people complete 2 days of training and then they can drive on their own. Right now we are back to being fully staffed with van drivers, so it's not an urgent concern that he be able to drive on his own. He really will be actually per diem and just be filling in for vacations and sick days and things like that. He is willing to work one regular day a week. If for some reason we do lose a van driver again, we've got that backup slot. So that's really reassuring. So far, everybody loves him. All of the staff said he was incredibly professional and also very personable. We got some good feedback from our riders already, so I think he's going to be an excellent fit. So we're very happy to have him on. And his name is Bill Natali. And he also came from Yarmouth. A lot of drivers coming from Yarmouth.
They see how wonderful it is over here in Harwich. That's why they're coming
Yes.
over. Actually, I had a chance to chat at length with Jerry yesterday, and he's just so happy to be back and working. And
He is.
he's such a great driver and such another great asset of the Council on Aging.
All right, our programs are back, are in full swing. They've been so far very popular. People are signing up for things. Our sailing program, which is running in August, which it usually does. Sign up opened for that yesterday, and it is actually already full. It usually fills up the first day. But we have some really wonderful other programs for August that I would encourage folks to take a look at the newsletter and call in for, some fun things. And also some very, helpful things are our fitness classes, which we always have. We have plenty of room in some of those. And we've got our ongoing movies and legal assistance and things like that people can come check out to have a way to cool off over the summer. We talked a while back about doing a highlight of one particular program or service that the COA offers each meeting. So I just chose a simple one this week or this month because it's one that we actually see an increase of use for in the summer, and it's our durable medical equipment loan. A lot of folks don't know that we offer this service, and it's really valuable for a lot of people because it obviously saves them a lot of money, and it's they can just come right down to their community center and pick something up rather than having to go into Hyannis or wait for a shipment to get a piece of equipment that they have an urgent need for. So just to take a step back and explain, we have a wide variety of equipment that we loan out to people in the community for free. People from other towns can use this service, though we do reserve the right to limit loans to folks from other towns if we're running very low on that item. So something like wheelchairs, which we don't get as many of, if we just have one left, we may limit that if it's for someone from out of town. But for Harwich residents, it is always completely open. If we've got it, you can have it. The types of equipment that we regularly stock are walkers of all types. So with wheels, without wheels, we've always got a very wide, a selection. Occasionally we've got the extra wide ones. We have rollators, which are the four-wheeled walkers. We have wheelchairs, transport chairs, which are the very lightweight wheelchairs that you can use for just the assistance of getting someone, to and from the car, for example. Canes. We have the commodes, which are like a bedside commode. We also have the lifted toilet seat risers that go on top of the toilet. Sometimes we do have bed rails, most of the time we've got bed rails. So it's like an assist that helps you to get in and out of the bed.
Shower chairs?
Shower chairs, shower benches, so something to help you slide in and out of the bathtub. Rails for the toilet, and sometimes we've got these contraptions that sit in front of a chair to help you stand up and down from the chair. So it's kind of like a freestanding rail that goes in and out from the chair. So those are the things that we have the most often. We occasionally get some products that are lesser used, but we'll keep them if we get them. So if you need something that I didn't name, you can call us and we'll let you know if we have it. And we also keep a wide variety of sizes and types of incontinence products, which we give out for free to the community. So you can get these from us on a regular basis. We will give 2 packages per visit. You can come once a week, and you can come regularly, get your 2 packages, and come as often as once a week for however long you need. And I think that kind of wraps it up. We do see because people are coming here for their vacation homes or for maybe just a short visit. That's why we see so many people with this increased need during the summer, because they just didn't think that they might need some extra help over the summer, or they didn't want to pack something, and they call us ahead of time to see if they might be able to get it here.
Where do these things come from, Julie? I mean, do people donate them? Is that?
Yep, people donate them, and we're selective about what we take, so it has to be clean and in good condition.
Okay.
Which means no rust on the equipment, obviously in safe working order,
Right.
no pieces missing, no hardware that's loose. things like that. So it has to be in good condition to give
Right.
out to somebody
It might
else.
be, you know, if people watching, if they have something like this that they're not using.
Yep,
You
absolutely.
know, this may be a place to,
Well, that's one of the things I was gonna bring up, and we, as realtors,
yes,
a lot of times when we're selling properties, I had one last month, it was an over 55 community was the property, and there were a number of items.
right,
And the family was like, well, we're just gonna take them down. I said, no, you're not.
sure,
We'll take them back here. So that, and I think it's important, you know, our mission is to support elders, their families and caregivers, so anyone can take part in the program. But I think it is important that if people have something in their garage, in their basement they're not using, it'd be a great opportunity. Julie, would you tell folks what is the process if they have something they want to bring in? How do they just come to the front desk? What do they do?
Yep, you can just bring it in. We prefer that you come between 9 and 3:30, so that gives us a half hour in the morning and in the afternoon to deal with phone calls, close up at the end of the day, that sort of thing. So between 9 and 3:30, you just come into our front door and bring the equipment. If it's heavy or bulky and you need some help getting it out of your car and inside, we can even help you with that. We've got big carts that we can help take to your car and use that to bring the equipment in.
And the most important part of this is a free program.
This is a completely free program.
So if someone has, and we see it a lot in our community, you know, folks who have, unfortunately, they fall, they break a hip, they go into rehab, et cetera. And a lot of times they're getting prescriptions to get some of these things that, you know, they can always check with the office, call in to the main number and see if something is available.
Right.
So I think it's a wonderful program.
it
And
is, there's no question about it.
thank you for bringing up. I think if those of you who are watching this have something at your home, please give the office a call. And if you have no use for it, we have elders, their families and caregivers in the community who could use it. So I think, go
I just
ahead.
have a question.
Sure.
I know obviously with meds and syringes that you can't donate. Is there anything else that you won't take? I mean,
So
sometimes people call and ask.
yeah, so we won't take, right, like you said, meds and syringes, or the supplies that you would use for oxygen equipment, wound care supplies, anything that you originally had to have a prescription for, even if it's not something that you think of as medicine. Things like Ensure, you know, the liquid nutrition drinks, we will actually accept those. They get a little heavy and bulky, so if there's like, you know, if there are like cases of them, we might have to say, well, maybe just 2 boxes, but we will accept them. What else? But like bandages, you know, the wound care stuff, we can't do that because we just don't have a need for it. We don't get people asking for that, unfortunately. And the oxygen supplies, I do see people trying to donate that, and it's again the same thing. We just can't give it out.
Okay, I just wanted to ask,
Yeah,
because some people do
that's
call.
that's
Angie,
helpful.
you bring up a great point about supplies and needles, et cetera, that our transfer station has basically a supply of sharps containers in all different sizes. And if you have someone who needs to get rid of sharps at all, you can go down to the transfer station and speak to the gentleman in the warehouse and tell him, I need a sharps container. They have about 5 different sizes. I've got a family member with diabetes, so we take advantage of it. A lot of folks think it's the fire department. It's not. It's the transfer station. You can bring in a full sharps container there, and they will replace it with a new one for
Right.
you. So it's another great service that
That's wonderful.
we should be aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know.
So thank you for bringing it up.
I will say on another base, on another item, on a personal matter, I had a client who needed a hospital bed and got one through the town nurse.
Yeah.
Donated. So I don't know, if COA is directly involved in that or not, but.
Yeah, so we obviously don't have room to
Right,
to stock them
yeah.
here. But with the nurse having so many connections in town,
Right.
you know, going into people's homes, seeing
Right.
what their situation is, she can often connect people directly with each other, and then they can, you know, if they want to work out a
Right.
donation or a swap, then that can happen.
And that hospital bed is now available again. I lost my
Oh,
client,
okay.
so
Okay.
I've already talked to Sue about it, but it is available.
Ralph, you bring up a great point. I think that's maybe at some point at a meeting, we can also highlight one of the staff members and the work that they do. We have a town nurse, you know, affiliated with the Council on Aging, and the work that she does is just unbelievable. But I think it's a great opportunity as people watch these programs to learn more and more.
Definitely.
Sometimes they get the newsletter, but they don't understand the breadth of the programs that we're providing.
Right.
So that
Or
might,
even the town nurses associated with COA.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. And to be very frank, she goes to great lengths to work with her clients.
She does.
I know.
Very, very much so. Anything else?
That's all. So going on to volunteer needs, we are in very, very good shape with our volunteer situation right now. People have been very, very generous with their time. I would say we would always take on new medical drivers, but even with that, we're in a pretty strong condition right now. I just brought somebody new on recently. We always are accepting, new applications for volunteers, and if someone is interested, we will find a role for them. But I don't need to really put the call out for a specific role right now. We are interested in bringing on some new help in the kitchen. If someone is really interested in working a lunch shift to help to serve lunch and then clean up afterwards, and I don't mean like do the dishes and really heavy duty cleaning, but pick up the plates and bring them to the kitchen, that kind of thing, put things away. Linda would be interested in talking to them. So it's got to be the right fit. But if someone has that interest in serving people at lunch, being able to have the balance of talking to folks, being friendly, but have the work orientation to get stuff done, she'd be interested in having that conversation. Okay.
That's wonderful.
All right, and
All right.
that's me.
Anything else for old business? If not, I have one. We discussed earlier this year, when we recognize the vast breadth of volunteers that we have here, of potentially doing 2 recognition events a year. And we had a wonderful one
Yeah.
this year, recognizing our volunteers of the year. It was just a great, great program. We need to think about the second one that we're going to do.
Yeah.
And I would like to agenda that for next month to say, what are we going to do, where are we going to do it, how are we going to do it.
Okay.
In the past, one of the things we've done is we've worked in conjunction with the fire and the police association to put on basically a cookout here, at COA. We did it outside, actually.
Yeah, that's very popular.
It was very, very popular for folks. So I just want to put it at the tops of your heads. We
Right.
can have that discussion next month, and
Okay.
we'll agenda that as a specific item if
Okay.
we can. Anything else for old business? How about new business? And if not, I do as well. I know I was in the office yesterday, and there was a discussion of a policy update with the staff. And
Okay.
that if there's going to be any type of policy, that we do agenda it with the necessity of a possible vote. It had to do with one of the programs.
With the lunch program?
No, it was another program. But they want to look at a general policy of,
Okay.
we'll get into specifics,
Okay.
but I just want to make sure if that is a discussion of a policy to be done, that we put it on the agenda
Okay.
for a possible vote.
Okay.
We'll talk after
Okay.
the meeting. That's it that I have for new business. Anything else for anyone else?
I'm good.
Nothing.
Then I will go around. Ralph, anything to share?
Nothing?
John? So glad you were here today. One of our major volunteers, Angie,
No, good.
and who keeps us on our toes with our minutes. So we thank you for your work, Carol.
I'm good.
And one of the things that we will be agendaing next month is reorganization of the board as required.
Okay.
So we'll put that in for
Okay.
an agenda item for next
Okay,
month.
sounds good.
Okay? If nobody has anything else, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is a vote.